Okay, we're going to go ahead and work on the main body now. And before we go any further, what I've done is I just hit smooth shading here, and I put an edge split modifier on with the standard 30 degrees. And you can see we got some sharp edges here. It just helped show me where they were. We got some there and right here. So we're going to go ahead and add one more bevel to those two areas right there. That should fix that. Okay, and then the other one is right here and right here. Even though it looks like there's pretty dense polygons right there, it's a pretty sharp curve. So that'll help with that. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. And then anywhere else that we see the need for it, so I think maybe just there, maybe just those ones. Okay, that looks good. And I can see down here, we don't want those to be sharp like that, so I probably should have beveled that 3 times instead of twice like I did. So I will do that now. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is some hull lines and paneling, just like we did with the engines. It's really the exact same technique. All I'm going to do is just draw on a line, say there. Might be a little thick, hang on. Alright, we'll just grab that. We'll extrude, scale. Now you can see because of the shape of the cutout here, we're going to want to scale it on the z-axis a little bit more than we did on the other ones. Right there. Yep, that's good. So again, same exact technique. We're just going to bring some edge loops in, mark those as sharp. Okay, and since we're at it, we'll just go ahead and mark these as sharp as well. That's pretty good, and of course we can do the same thing again. We'll just rip this down here, and we'll have one that goes the entire length of the wing. Although actually, let me do one thing that's a little different here. We're going to cut this. In fact, we don't want to do the bottom, so let's do... Actually, we will need to do the bottom. Okay, you can see these don't line up quite perfectly. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. At last. Okay. And I wanted to do that just to get sort of not a completely straight line across there, so take our knife tool here, I think it went both ways. Yep, it did. Okay. It's a little bit more annoying to do it this way, but I think it'll give us a little bit of extra detail. Yeah, that should be good. Let's remove doubles. I think on the bottom we're going to have some issues. Yeah. For example, right there. That's actually okay. And actually it looks like we should have beveled this as well. I think we still can. Yeah, okay. So let's take all of those faces. Come on. And these. And because this isn't a straight line, it just takes a little more work here. To get it right. Yeah, but that's really nice to have that cut that's not straight across like that. So go ahead and do the same thing there. Ran a loop cut on that. That's going to be interesting. I think we can just grab this. Yeah, it's not perfect bevel, but it's pretty good. Okay, and we'll do the same thing on this side. Mark sharp, okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and tab back in here, and we'll rip this edge. Whoops. Did I forget to rip this? Thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and continue with that process for the wing, and you guys go ahead and add whatever details you want, just like with the engine, and I'll show you what I went ahead and did in just a second here. Okay, I've gone ahead and done some more of these hull panels and lines here. You guys can see I've actually done quite a few of them, and like I said, it's a very simple but very time-consuming process, so it seemed like just the sort of thing to cut out. This probably took me about 45 minutes to do all of this, and like I said, it's real simple, just takes forever. The next thing we're going to do is another technique I want to show you. I'm just going to pick a couple of faces here like that, and I'm going to extrude them. And we've actually already done this for the landing gear. Oh, actually, it's a bad example because it's right on the edge. Let's pick this. So just extrude and scale, and then extrude and scale one more time, and then you just grab this resulting ring of faces and you extrude it down like that. Okay, and then if you want to bevel those, you can, although I think I'm not going to. I'll just make them really small, and it just gives you a little extra detail right there like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more of those, and you guys will be able to do that, I'm sure. And again, I'll show you guys what I did here in a minute. Okay, I've gone ahead and added a few more of those. Let me just show you guys. I didn't do too many of them, but I did one right there, and I did a couple up here on this air vent right here, see? So I just grabbed them, extruded them, and then I got this just by well, here, I'll show you on this panel. Like, you can scale and then take this edge, scale just that edge, and extrude and scale again, and you get that sort of diagonal shape. It's pretty easy. Okay, and then I did a couple back here, and yeah, that's a little different. Let me show you that. So you could extrude and scale that in, and then you could extrude and scale again, and then you can just grab this. Make sure you're not distorting the mesh, but you can move this wherever you want, scale that, and that's just how I got that a little bit offset. So that was pretty easy. But other than that, real simple. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the rocket launchers. We have a rocket launcher area right here. So I'm just going to grab the faces that I think we want to use. Yeah, probably those right there. And I'm going to separate these. You guys will probably remember this from this engine section right here. We're going to do the same thing. Same technique. So we're just going to come in here and add some loop cuts to the edges. Get rid of the ones we don't want. Oops. And we'll just merge these all at last, as you know, making sure that you've picked the corner one last. Alright. And we'll bevel those a few times. One more. And of course we got extra edge loops that we don't need. Get rid of them. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and scale this whole thing up. And maybe we can scale this down. Yeah, okay. So we need to extrude this on the y-axis actually. Or do we? No. I think we'll just extrude it straight. Like that. There you go. Get rid of those faces. And then it looks like we might want to bevel those a little bit. And maybe these ones as well. Just to kind of keep it as smooth as the body around it. So, yeah, that looks pretty good. So then I'm just going to grab these edges here and I'm going to extrude those on the y-axis. There we go. Yep. And I think, yeah, scale y0 for those. Pull them back. And that's pretty good. So we can go ahead and add our rocket launchers in here now. We'll go to the front view. I've already done this, but we'll set our cursor here. And we'll just go ahead and add a circle, 16 sides. Rotate it on the x-axis 90 degrees. Scale it down. And then we'll add a modifier, array. Go with, say, 5. Add another modifier, or add another array. Make that 3. Okay. And let's just increase this a little bit. Okay, that's about what we want. So let's go ahead and apply these arrays. And then we'll just bring this all the way forward. And extrude it on the y-axis like that. So we'll just take our knife tool and cut this across. There you go. Pick vertices, all those, delete them. Okay, and then you have a good front face here for this rocket launcher, or this rocket pod. So what I'm going to do is move this to another layer down here so I can work on it. And I'm not going to make you guys sit through all of this, but what I'm going to do is, it's going to be kind of frustrating because they're at such a crazy angle, but I'm going to go ahead and connect all these faces. I couldn't do this while they were still in an array because the angle had to be different for each of the individual objects. So okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all these faces. Just like that. So I'll go ahead and get back to you guys in just a minute. Okay, I've gone ahead and filled in all these faces. Kind of a pain in the butt, but not too bad. And then for these edge pieces here, I left one so I can show you guys how I did that. I just grab, well, here, we'll look at the front view, it's easier. Just grab this edge and this piece just right before that, right before it turns vertical, and you make that face, and you just grab those edges there and you make a face like that. So again, not too difficult, but very time consuming. And the next thing we're going to do is grab all the vertices in the back, just like that, and we have this piece left. And apparently I screwed this up. Huh. Oh, because I still had these selected, that's why. Okay, that should do it. So we'll go ahead and move this back to the first layer. Right there. And then we'll grab these outer edges. Maybe we will. That's annoying. No big deal though. Okay, so we're just going to extrude and scale those out. And we'll pull it back. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. So let's go ahead and grab all these rings in here. Make sure we haven't missed any. Alright. So we'll extrude these back right on the y-axis. Just like that. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and make the actual rockets. So in order to do the rockets, what we're going to do is just grab one of these edges here, which I already did. Shift S, cursor to select, oops. Shift S, cursor to selection. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add a UV sphere, 16 and 10, 16 segments, 10 rings, rotated on the x-axis by 90 degrees, scale it down, just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these faces in the back, and the rest of those, extrude those on the y-axis all the way back. That's good. And then let's go ahead and we'll pick another ring of faces, or another ring of edges here. And then what I'm going to do is just duplicate this and go Shift S, selection to cursor. So we'll just put that in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of these real quick. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done that, and the only thing I might want to do is just grab, say, the bottom row of rockets and just maybe pull them forward a little bit. And then this one, and pull it forward a little bit less, so we have kind of a line there. And then of course I'm just going to go ahead and join all my rockets together. And also my rocket launcher, join, and then we'll join it to the main mesh there. Okay, there you go. Obviously if you wanted to launch the rockets, you'd have them as separate pieces, but okay, so now we'll go ahead and do the missiles under here. Okay, let's go ahead and make some missiles. So we'll add a circle, 3 sides, so obviously a triangle. But that's an easy way to get a triangle. So let's just go ahead and extrude everything on the y-axis, about the length that we want the missile. Scale that down a bit. Okay, and we'll make a cut around the nose section right there. Add some more of those. Turn on proportional editing on. Scale, let's go to 7. Scale that to 0. Actually, before we do that, let's yeah, we need to bevel these so they're smooth. Alright, we'll grab all these faces, maybe that many. Obviously this is sort of an unconventional missile, but I think it looks pretty good. Just add a loop cut in here. And really, you probably won't be able to see this, but so then we'll just go to the back of it here. Say maybe right there. Scale that down. Extrude that. Scale that. And this one we'll just leave like so. So let's create some fins. Get rid of that. Okay. Scale that whole thing up there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll just move it back and scale that up a little more on the actual back section there. And we might need to pull that back. Okay. Scale shift Y just a little bit. Alright. Just duplicate and rotate those so it's a pretty good missile, a little bit unconventional, but I think it looks good. The only thing we need to do is give it a cutout so we can mount it. Oops. One more time. And we'll just take these two edges here and here. Scale X, scale Y, make a face. Okay. Just bevel those really quick. Actually, works better that way. Bevel these a couple of times. Looks good, so let's move this to layer 1. Scale it down. And we'll rotate it so it kind of looks like it matches up with the body. And we'll do maybe one more here. And I think we'll have to pull that one back a little bit. Yeah, looks pretty good. So there's some missiles. Let's just go ahead and combine them all and join them to that. Okay, let's go ahead and do the main gun here. 16-sided circle, tab in, scale everything down, move it up just a little bit, right about there. Let's extrude this in, grab these faces, delete them, and actually let's rotate everything on the x-axis. Oops. Extrude that back. This is one of the barrel sections here, and I think we're gonna have to scale this down in a minute, but so let's go ahead and cut this at an angle like that. Grab this, Control E, bridge to edge loops, and we don't need these faces here. Cut this one more time, well, 2 more times I guess. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So let's go back to the front and 3D cursor. We could do that. But I think we need to pull this up a little more. Yeah, that looks much better. We'll go with that. So then we'll just add a circle. Yeah, we'll make it 32. We'll just make it like 20. It doesn't need to be a perfect number. Or a multiple of 2, I guess. Come on. There we go. Just make sure we cut out all of those. Bring that all the way to the back here. That looks good. Okay, and we'll just extrude these. Scale Shift X. Do a couple little cutouts just like that. Just add a little detail here. That looks pretty good. And then we'll just add a little box or something right there. Although actually, yeah. Scale Shift Y. Bevel that. Mark sharp. And we'll go back to 3D cursor. Okay, that looks pretty good for the gun. We'll just go ahead and pull one more thing down in the back. Make a face there for the mounting point. Okay, that's a pretty good main gun, I think. Let's actually just take scale that down. Just to have something coming forward a little bit. Okay, so let's move that back here. We'll position this one down here. Yeah, right about there. So we need to cut something out. We'll move the gun over just a little. We really can't. Okay. Scale those in. Like so. Actually, if we bring them up a little bit, we can scale them to 0 on the z-axis. Set all of those to sharp. Okay, and then we'll just extrude this. Or we don't need to extrude it, we'll just drag it up and scale that in. Yeah, we'll just leave it just like that. Looks good. So let's just join this there. And then you have your main guns.